to Make Things Club, a podcast about knitting, some sewing, cross stitch, embroidery, just making things generally. This is episode 8. My name is Sarah, and I'm coming at you from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And Stella is being the worst. So she's probably going to knock around my video a little bit. Don't be a brat. Go find something else to do. Mama's busy. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time hanging out with me, then thank you so much for coming by. And if you're a returning viewer or a seasoned vet, as I like to say, thank you so much for coming back. My online alias for the most part, so Instagram, Reddit, Loose Page, or Twitter, whatever, is Loose Pages. The only place you won't be able to find me online under that nickname is Ravelry. So Instagram, Pinterest, Reddit, Twitter, Periscope, even though I don't use it yet. You can find me as Loose Pages, LOOSEPAGES. And on Ravelry, you can find me as Romperlust, and that is ROMPERLUST. We also have a Make Things Club podcast group on Ravelry. It's pretty quiet in there, but I haven't really been posting anything or facilitating any type of conversation. Let's just get real. I should probably get a little bit better at that. But it does exist, so if you wanted to join it, I'm going to be trying to amp up some of my posting. We'll get to that later. But if you wanted to join, you're more than welcome to. That's where you'll find the group. Yeah, so I guess just starting off, I just wanted to say it's been a little bit of a slow week for me. There's been a lot of dealing with things going on, and it's not even important things, it's just weird feelings that I've had all week. Like, I've cried at Tim Hortons commercials, haven't wanted to knit very much. So just for honesty's sake, I'll just touch briefly on burnout, I guess. So I've been, I don't want to say unemployed because I'm still employed. I've just been on a bit of a break for the last 3 months with my work. My work can be really stressful and demanding, and sometimes it just takes the best of you. So I kind of figured I needed to take a step back for a bit and really spend more time crafting, doing things that I love, and exploring who I am as a person. So I kind of went on sabbatical from my job. So with all of that time available, I've kind of needed to fill with tons of different things that I was doing. So I was knitting, I was learning how to embroider, I was doing some sewing, I hand-dyed a skein of yarn for fun. Basically, my entire existence has been creative. So I kind of feel, especially now that I have a date to go back, like I'm going back to work. When I'm not knitting or creating something, I kind of, there's so much cat hair in the air. I'm kind of feeling a little bit like I'm not allowed to be idle. Another part of this for me, just this week, I worked on a couple projects and they were just the most frustrating things. I didn't enjoy any of it. I didn't enjoy picking up my needles. I didn't enjoy anything. And sometimes you need to take a break. And for me, my first instinct goes to, oh my God, is my depression coming back? Oh my God, am I going to stop enjoying things again? So because I've been dealing with the emotional and mental aspects of just, dealing with the season changes and the fact that I do have depression and I do have anxiety, and these things are definitely part of my existence regularly. So for me, when I don't feel like knitting, it's kind of oh my God, is something happening? So I think I just need to be calmer, and it's okay not to knit sometimes, but for me this week it's been really hard kind of trying to figure out if it's a bigger symptom of something or if I'm just kind of needing to do something else for a bit. I'm really excited, actually. I'm really looking forward to going back to work and having some of that balance and, unwinding with my hobbies instead of completely relying on them to get me through the day all the time. So it has been a slow week. I just haven't been feeling too great. My allergies are really kicking in because it's dusty. It's very dusty and gross in Edmonton right now. We usually get a lot of snow and a lot of ice and stuff, so they just completely sandblast the streets all the time with like a dust sand mixture. And now that there's no snow and everything's melted and the air is just really dry because there's been no moisture. There's dust everywhere. And if it's not dust, it's cat hair. And if it's not cat hair, it's yarn fuzzies all over the place. So I just kind of feel like a lot of sinus stuff going on. So I just haven't really been feeling like doing anything either. But despite that, I do have a finished object to show. And this is old news. But since the time I showed them the last time, I've restarted them like 3 times. So I did finish my slippers for my partner. So these are just the Simple House flats. And I'm recording this a lot later than I usually do. It's 4 o'clock and the sun's going down and the light's weird. So these are going to be really hard to show. So maybe, it's not bad. They're dark. It's super dark in here. But these are the slippers that I finished for my partner Ross. His birthday is coming up on Thursday. So I did these flats. I was going to try and do the magic loop just because it's easier with all the decreases and stuff to just do it magic loop. But that was really hard for me this week. So these are done. I'll maybe put in a better picture so you can actually see what they look like. This yarn is the hand-dyed yarn that I tried doing myself. And it's just the Patons classic wool worsted in the white that I used for these. So these were knit with 5.5mm DPNs. I was using bamboo. Actually, I'm okay with bamboo for these things. It's other stuff that I'm like, bamboo's the worst. So these are done. This is my only knitting FO this week. I also have, my notes are all out of order. I also finished something, so happy birthday, Caitlin. I made you an oceans pouch. I was going to show you I was going to give it to you at the Crafternoon on this weekend, but I wanted to show it. So this is what your notions pouch looks like. I actually did a pretty decent job joining up the pattern, so I'm really proud of myself on that. So you'll get this next week, and it's got light blue on the inside. So I made you a notions pouch. It was really hard because my brain was not working, but it's done. I hope you like it. These are the colors that I picked for you. So those are the only FOs that I have this week. My slippers and my notions pouch for my sister-in-law for her 30th birthday, which was almost 2-3 weeks ago. I'm really behind. I'm the worst. Like, I'm really proud that I actually have something finished for my partner because I'm really bad at birthdays. I do have a half object as well. And I want sock blockers. It'd be so much easier to show things with sock blockers. But I have my first Rose City roller. Oh my goodness. So this is my Rose City roller that I made, and it's with the Koigu hand-painted yarn. Instead of doing a plain stockinette cuff, I did 2x2 ribbing, and I did a contrasting toe and heel. So this guy's done. I've worn it. I've worn it around the house a couple times with, you know, another sock on my foot. So this guy needs a soulmate. This is the very first sock that I ever made with my Mano Stella Uruguay yarn. And this is a Rose City roller just with the traditional stockinette cuff. So there is a fairly good chance that my partner and I will be driving to Kelowna on the 22nd. So his sister comes in this week on Tuesday night, late on Tuesday, and she's staying with us until the 22nd. I think what we'll end up doing is drop her off at the airport the morning of the 22nd so she can catch her flight home and then just keep going. So if we end up doing a road trip, I'm making the others of these. Gonna get it done. So I'll have 3 pairs of socks for my box of socks, Cal, which Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast is hosting. The premise with that knit along is that you are going to knit a minimum of 12 pairs of socks, and you have to have a cute box to put them in. So the premise is you're going to have handmade socks for 2017. So I've entered that. If I finish these 2, it'll bring my tally up to 3 pairs. And in vein of that, I've been practicing magic loop. So I watched like every YouTube video that I could find. It still wasn't quite making sense to me, and I ended up, my sister-in-law that's coming to visit this week, Carla, FaceTimed with me and told me all the things that I was kind of doing backwards. So here's my stockinette tube that I've made with Magic Loop. So the idea is I'm going to give knitting socks in Magic Loop a try, especially with an afterthought heel. It should take no time at all to get going. So if I can do Magic Loop, I think that might be my secret to being a sock knitter, because I desperately want to be a sock knitter, but okay, sorry. I'm using my phone to podcast today, and I just needed to make sure that it was on, because the last time I podcasted, if you'll remember, I talked to myself the entire time and then realized that it wasn't on at the end. So thank goodness, I was just worried for a second there. But yeah, so I've kind of figured out Magic Loop. I want to cast on a sock with it, but I don't have the right needles. So Carla, who lives in Kelowna, is going to pick up. Thank you so much again, by the way, for picking me up some stuff. She's bringing me some sock rockets by Addie, because I love Addie DPNs for knitting. That's what I made my last sock on. They just are so nice and quick, and so I got her to pick up 2.75 millimeter needles, the Addie sock rockets for me. So I will be playing with that this week. So besides that, I haven't really gotten too much else knitting done. Just an update on my Cozy Memories blanket. It's kind of a mess right now because I am in the middle of a square and it's a mess. So I did end up ripping the other squares that I had completed out. I wasn't happy with them. I didn't like the way that I joined them. Picking up stitches was something that I wasn't too comfortable doing yet, so I ripped out the other ones. I redid this one, so I'm gonna move my light because I'm like behind it. Okay, so I did this one, which is in the Fildar Folk 100 sock yarn, and this is the yarn that I used to make my very first pair of socks, and it's the Anise colorway. So I like the way that this square turned out better. I like that this is like a big solid chunk in the corner, and I like the little green speckles. So I'm happier with how this yarn knit up. There. I also knit up another one. My light situation in here is awful. So this is really dark, so I'm not sure how well that'll show up. That's a little bit better. But this is one of my unicorn tails from Madeline Tosh. I'm not sure what the colorway is right now. It's purple. And I've got my little Hello Kitty progress marker on there to show me which side's the right side. And this is the yarn that I received from Lara of the Fawn Knits. I don't know what the name of this colorway is, but I love it. I want to call it Tequila Sunrise just because. But I'm making another square out of that. If you saw the last time I updated on my blanket, you'll know what that kind of looks like. But there's a bunch of coral and yellow and orange and peach, and it's just pretty. So I'm in the middle of that. So almost up to 3. I am really excited about all of the yarn scraps that I have that I can put in my blanket afterwards. I'm hoping that I end up with some of that koigu from my sock left over so that I can throw not only the painted yarn but the pink contrasting that I have as well. I'm hoping that I can put both of them in my blanket. So that's been basically my knitting. I don't have anything on the needles. What? I don't have anything on the needles. Another thing that I'll say, and I've been finding a lot of other podcasters are feeling the same way, where they've kind of become monogamous knitters all of a sudden. I'm finding myself kind of, I used to have like 7 things on the go. Well, I have my blankets on the go, but I'm honestly thinking of casting that off and just giving it to the cats as an offering so that they stop barfing on my rug. My cat Stella really likes that blanket. I don't really care for it. There's so many stupid mistakes. Like, you're holding your yarn double, so there's marks in the blanket all over the place where I only caught one strand of yarn instead of the other one, so the other one's just hanging there awkwardly. I don't care. I'm not going to use it very much. The colors aren't what I would like them to be for my living room. I might just fold and just be like, here cats, happy cat day. It is Saturday, so I could be like, happy Catterday, stop barfing on my rug. I don't know yet. I feel like I'm quitting if I do that. Like, I'm a huge quitter. So I don't know. It's not a fun project. Garter stitch blankets are so crazy. Like, why did I agree to do this in the first place? Like, I don't even know. So I might pull that off. So if I do that, then I literally have nothing on my needles. So yeah, I've been also trying to knit from stash, which is really hard. Because if you notice behind me, this is only half of it. I have more on the other side. I tend to be really, I think it's an adult attention deficit disorder thing. But I tend to be attracted to certain things and then just buy them because I like them. But I don't buy enough of anything to really do much with it. So part of my wanting to be a sock knitter is that I have so much sock yarn because it's beautiful. Sock yarn is gorgeous, but I don't have enough to do anything else with it. I love shawls. I'm a self-proclaimed shawl knitter, but a lot of the yarn that I have doesn't go with a lot of the other kinds that I have, or if they would, they wouldn't be something that I would wear regularly. So I need to be smarter when I buy stuff from my stash. If you like something, buy 2 skeins. Just buy 2 skeins. It's not that hard. Another thing that I want to do is plan some knitting. It's almost spring. It's March. I think it's March 11th right now. I don't even know what day it is. But it's almost spring. I feel like my knitting season is coming to an end, even though I have not knit myself anything that's like winter. I have not knit a bulky toque. I haven't knit gloves. I haven't knit like anything that could only be worn in winter. So this feeling like, oh, well, knitting season's over because the sun is coming out is really weird for me. And now I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to knit now? So reminding myself that I'm a shawl knitter, I'm gonna knit shawls and socks. Hopefully that'll be my summer projects will be shawls and socks. So it's not quite stash enhancement yet because I don't have it, but there is a shawl. Since it came out, I've been lusting over it, mostly because Sylvia is amazing. She makes amazing, amazing patterns. I lust after everything that she makes. So thank you so much, Sylvia, for being amazing. Her name is Soft Sweater on Ravelry. You might know her as Sylvia Bobilvia. I know that Kristen of a Yarngasm podcast is doing a Waiting for Rain knit along, which I would have joined had I had yarn for it. But she found some plastic on the floor and now she's walking away. Stella was in here just now. At Knit City last year, I kind of went a little nuts and like I said, just bought stuff without buying enough for anything. So I had a skein of Sweet Fibers Canadian yarn and I loved the color. I had to have it. I walked past the booth like 14 times. It's just gorgeous. This color is amazing. It's all naturally dyed. 100% Canadian wool. So it's naturally dyed, which means it's got vegetable matter and just natural things that you'll find out in the forest to make colors. So the fact that this is so vibrant and crazy beautiful blows my mind. I've been trying to get my hands on 2 more skeins of this because I want to knit Sylvia's Authenticity shawl, and I'll put a picture in here so that you kind of know what I'm doing. And I want it in this. Which is so pretty. This color is gorgeous. So every time that I've wanted to go and buy yarn, it's been sold out. I'm sure Melissa from Sweet Fiber is like raking in so much money right now from the attention that Sylvia's been getting on the shawls, because she usually uses, I know for the Authenticity shawl she used this, and I've been trying to get my hands on 2 more skeins of it so that I can make it for the last couple months and just haven't. So she's now doing pre-orders for the Canadian yarns. I ordered 2 more of these. Hopefully the colors are close, because I know especially when you're doing natural dyeing, the dye lots are probably going to be quite different. So hopefully this will match really well with that. I think this is the flannel colorway. And even, it just looks so nice. This actually works really well with my hair. I just dyed it dark again. So this is going to be a shawl. My cat's trying to try it. Come on. Come on. It's like a game now. I told her she can come up and now she's like, no, I don't believe you. So I ordered 2 of these. I don't know when they're even gonna ship because they're dyed to order. So I'm hoping they come in soon because I really want to get started on that shawl. And then, guys, I've been having a really crappy week. I've been feeling awful and just really hard on myself and down on myself and a little jealous of my partner who was in Nova Scotia for the last couple days. I went and picked him up today from the airport this morning. He was in Nova Scotia doing some talks for his, he does a talk called Everyday Astronaut. So he was offered to come out to Nova Scotia and I believe New Brunswick to do a talk. So he was gone and I was stuck in Edmonton doing nothing. And he brought me a present. And you guys, I legit cried. I cried when he pulled these out. So he brought me 2 skeins of lichen and lace, if you can see that. Which is hand-dyed in Sackville, New Brunswick, so it's Canadian. And actually, lichen and lace is an indie dyer that I have, I don't know, I guess you can say indie dyer, who I have added to my yarn porn list on, she knows her place. See, I yell at her all the time when she's walking in front of me when I'm sewing and stuff, and now she just goes to sit in her box. Love of my life right there. But he brought me 2 skeins of lichen and lace, super wash merino worsted, so it's 4-ply, so it's super strong. 115 grams, 220 yards. This is the soot colorway. And I'll pull it out if you can kind of, oh my god, it's just so pretty. So he bought this at The Loop, which is in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And I, A, immediately needed to cast it on. B, ugly cried as he gave it to me and he was just like, are you okay? I'm like, I love it, it's so great. So I needed this. I really, really needed it. And apparently he picked out everything all by himself. So his sister Carla, I was talking to her on just texting, and she said that he sent her a picture after he had already bought it. So it's not even like he was like, do you think she'll like this? He legit picked out yarn that I love from an indie dyer that I wanted yarn from. And like, even the label is cute. I could cry all over again. But he bought me this, he brought it back for me, and he brought me back the little info card from the place where it's from. So it's downtown Halifax. You can kind of see the map there. They're right by the ocean. I'm just so in love. He's the best. I got really lucky. He's a good boyfriend. So immediately after seeing this, I was like, what am I gonna make with it? What am I gonna make with it? And I've decided to make, once again, it's another Sylvia pattern. I've decided to make the elder tree shawl, and I'll throw in a picture. My sister-in-law Carla has made it. She said it's really like a great pattern. It's very similar to the lonely tree shawl, except this one is charted better, I think. So I've already purchased the pattern. I've already got my yarn. It's gonna get caked up. It's just like, I can't wait to see how this is gonna knit up, because it's mostly gray and then it's got little spots of not gray. Ugh. I'm so excited. So I've already got my pattern picked out. I'm gonna cake that yarn and I'm gonna start it tonight, actually. So that is gonna be on my needles. So it's just so cute. Oh, and by the way, since it's like dinner time, I'm straight up just drinking wine, because why not? Also, it's Riesling, but look at this cat bottle that it came in. It came in a cat bottle. So you know this is going to be holding flowers in my office space at some point. Knitting in the afternoon is nice. Maybe I'll just do this all the time. I had an idea, but I don't think it'll fly very well, or it'll fly really well. We'll see. But Caitlin, if you ever wanted to co-podcast with me and just get slammed on wine and then talk about yarn, I think that would be a fun thing to do once every couple months. We'll probably, you know, not do that because I don't know how well that would work for other people, but like my drunk kitchen, but it's like my drunk studio space. like maybe every quarter, just get slammed on one. That would be a fun after Knit City thing to do. Maybe that's what we could do. Yeah, in the vein of talking about Knit City every 5 seconds, this is the bag that I'm using for my sock blanket right now that I got last year. I have Knit City on the brain so badly. Like so badly to the point where I actually started this. So this is my envelope with some tape on it. This is where I start saving money. I was talking with Caitlin, my other sister-in-law, this afternoon and discussing just like Knit City stuff, and we're gonna start planning because we need to start booking vacation time and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, do we need to guard each other's credit cards when we're there? And I said, well, maybe, but last year, the first year that I went, it was a completely crazy experience because you walk in and it's just like any decency or like human qualities that I had as a person completely got shot out the window because there was so much to look at. There was so much yarn. There was so much cool stuff. There were so many people that were just so passionate about fiber and knitting and everything that it was just like I just needed to be a part of everything at every moment, and like every second of my life was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So for me, I had a budget. I don't know what that budget was, but I had an envelope full of money that I had saved from things that I had sold or garage sales or birthday, like anything that I had cash-wise went into an envelope, and that was my Knit City damage envelope, I guess. So I've already got it started this year. It's March. Knit City doesn't happen till October, but I've already started saving money completely dedicated to spending at Knit City. I think ideally I would like to go a couple days before, just because there's so much cool stuff to do in Vancouver. I love being in Vancouver. Vancouver is one of my favorite places to be. And there's just so many cool little neighborhoods that I haven't explored. Like last year I went to Soma, which is South Main, and there's so many cool places to see, so many places to wander. So I'd like to go and make it like a personal vacation for myself. I know I have a couple friends that are interested in coming this year, so we'll have to work that out, because for me, I do like to have some solitary time places. I didn't get to go to Calgary yet. I'm gonna do it probably in April. But like my mom was like, well, just come with me. I'm planning on going to Calgary. And I was like, I want to go myself. So I do have a little bit of a selfish, I guess it's not selfish, but like an independent streak when I want to go places. So for Knit City this year, there's going to be friends with me. We'll have to just, figure out what we're going to do and who I'm going to visit and all that kind of stuff. But I started an envelope saving up for Knit City. I'm also planning some knits. I didn't have very much last year when it came to knitting anything, just because I was pretty much a brand new knitter and I spent 3 months working on one shawl. So this year I need to have a sweater. So for my plans, I don't know what sweater pattern I want. There is one by Hannah Fettig. I think it's the K cardigan. And someone did a modification where instead of, because it's called the lice stitch. So from here to here on the yoke, there's like it almost looks polka dotted. You've got your main color and then like a contrast color or like an accent color, and there's just like, it's like a polka dotted yoke. I found one where someone did a duplicate stitch cat pattern, like, and she made different types of cats so that it wasn't the same one. So it's like cats, 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 cats all the way across, and I swear I would pay money for it. I wouldn't even knit it myself. I would literally pay someone for it, and it didn't even matter how much it cost. But since I have so much time between now and Knit City, I'm thinking that I might do the K cardigan. It's hard because I've never knit a sweater before, so this will be my first sweater. So I don't want it to be too complicated. I don't want it to be something that I would have a hard time understanding, just because there are going to be a bunch of different techniques that I know I haven't used before in a construction of a sweater. I also have issues with sweaters in general. I don't know if any other, I don't want to say chubby, but like I am a little bit, I'm very top heavy when it comes to my stature, and I'm a little chubs. So for me, knitting a sweater just kind of seems like I'm gonna knit something that I'm never gonna wear. So for me, I'm looking for cardigan patterns because cardigans are my life. Love them. I'd like a cardigan pattern, so if you have any really good suggestions for cardigans that, I don't want to say knit up quick, but would be a nice, easy introduction to knitting, let me know, because I need to get on that. I'm really thinking of even splurging on the yarn. There is a yarn from the Lemonade shop, which I think right now is on vacation, but I lust after her yarn nonstop. And there was a photo of something she was knitting up on Instagram, and the yarn was called Sweatpants. And I might even spring for a sweater's worth quantity of her yarn in the Sweatpants colorway. It's like a gray with a little bit of color in it. So I'm on the hunt right now. I am looking for a pattern, I am looking for yarn, I'm gonna have a Knit City sweater, and I'm probably not gonna lie, we'll have every single one of Sylvia Bobilvia's shawls knit up so that I can bring those as well. So yeah, Knit City's been on my brain. It's honestly something that I'm looking forward to so much that like I almost want the rest of the year to go by quickly so that I can be there. Yeah, so other than that, sorry, excuse me. I don't really have too many other things on my needle, on my mind right now to talk about. Next week, I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to be podcasting, but Carla will be podcasting with me. So if you want to get to know her a little bit better, check out her and Emily's podcast. They go under the Relentless Knitting Podcast. You can find them on iTunes. I use an app called Overcast to listen to all my podcasts. I'd recommend getting to know her a little bit better. She's awesome. I'm so excited that she's coming. I'm so excited that she's bringing me a pom-pom and some needles, and I can't wait to podcast with her. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I guess Stella's sleeping. I'm out of things to talk about. We should probably just call it a day. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like, please subscribe. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed already. 61 people have subscribed to my podcast, which is way more than I could have ever thought would. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I wish you all happy knitting. I can't wait to show you how my shawl knits up. I can't wait to cake my yarn. I'm going to do that immediately. Yeah, and I hope you have a good week, and I will talk to you guys next week sometime with my special visitor. So happy knitting. Bye.